And we now welcome into the ESPN Esports show former NBA2K League pro Jaacko, joining us from Auckland, New Zealand. Spent season 2 with Pistons GT. Let's start here actually, because your bio actually says former NBA2K League player. What is the latest on your status right now?
So after season 2, spending that with Pistons GT, they decided not to retain or franchise me for season 3. So currently I am a free agent looking for a team for season 3.
So what has that process been like, trying to find a new team?
It's rather difficult, especially being an international player. It's not the easiest to get recognition when a lot of the focus is on the American or North American scene. So yeah, it's a bit difficult, but we're doing what we can down here.
I know with other esports leagues, there have been some visa issues bringing in non-North American players to North America. Do you find that to be a deterrent? Like, is that something that you find to be a strike against you when you're talking with teams?
Yeah, no, it is a little bit difficult. I feel that managers, while processing us, it is something to take into account. I know for a fact last year I did miss the first regular week of the season as well as the first tournament of the season, so it's not ideal. So I do feel it is a strike against us, but I mean, I think talent or skill will be the deterring factor at the end of the day to whether you get drafted or not. So
how do you feel about the international development of NBA 2K? Obviously, it's a game that's really popular in America every single year when it comes out. But in terms of the developing international talent in esports, we've seen the league expand and run various tournaments internationally, particularly as they've tried to get more into Asia. But as someone who doesn't live in America and came from Oceania, how do you feel about what the league is doing to expand its prospects internationally?
yeah, I think it's amazing personally. These events, the European invitation that's just passed, you got to see the Americans open up a new door and see all the talent that Europe has to offer. And I know currently a lot of the European players are now playing on a massive delay, playing against Americans. So I feel that these events, they definitely do help with recognition, and it's just awesome to see the league take that initiative and put the spotlight on us and show what we got.
Of course, the league is expanding as well. On top of other NBA franchises coming into the league, you have Gen G investing in a team that will represent Shanghai. When you sort of foreshadow what's going to happen with NBA 2K League, do you truly see it as a global league? Do you see local events happening as part of the league? Like, how far are you looking into the future here?
Well, for me, I think only time will tell, but I think the roof's the limit, and the BD and crew have done an amazing job, and I just think that there is really no telling. We'll only have to wait and see, but I think it's definitely heading in the right direction. I think these events are a massive step to getting there, and Gen G coming into the league as well was just another massive step, and I think it's definitely going in the right direction.
What about the scene in Australia and New Zealand?
Numbers-wise, I feel that we're probably the smallest in terms of player base, but we've got a very passionate group of guys down here that love their 2K, and I think that at the APAC Invitational especially, you'll be seeing a lot of them play their heart out. You'll see a lot of trash talk. It'll be a very exciting event, and the league's done a very, very good job of identifying the best players in our region for that event, and
When you look back on your season with Pistons GT, it wasn't the best year for the team, obviously, 2-19. And for yourself as well, do you feel like you could have maybe showcased your skills a little more had you been in a different position?
Yes and no. I think the opportunity definitely was there on Pistons GT, but what we were just lacking as a team was kind of that alpha player that can put their hand up and everyone would just kind of follow suit, and he can be, the leader or the captain of the team. But apart from that, I think the opportunity was there. I definitely think that, we definitely underperformed. I don't think anyone expected us to perform that badly, but, it happened, and I've got nothing else to say on that.
Last question for you. Let's just go back to you and your journey to get back to the league. What is that process like? Do you reach out to GMs directly? Are you constantly knocking on doors? Take us through the grind of trying to get back in the league.
Yeah, so normally the best way to do it is let your play do the talking, but with the time zone difference and us genuinely when we play 2K or we're streaming, it'll be about 4 or 5 a.m. in America Eastern time. So it's not ideal, and you kind of got to find ways around that. So obviously recording your gameplay, linking scouts, GMs, players of other teams, all of them, your stream rebroadcasts, and also just networking as well, talking to them all, getting a grip on what they want next year, and just kind of, it is a bit of a different process, but it's not too dissimilar to the way that Americans or Europeans would be trying to get into the league.
Let's end on this, actually. How much of a point of pride was it for you to represent New Zealand in the 2K League?
Yeah, no, it was awesome. Definitely being the first player from not only New Zealand, but the Australia, New Zealand, or APAC region. It was just unbelievably awesome. Definitely when I got there, I felt that there was a chip on my shoulder. And as the season went along, you kind of got a bit more comfortable going into games and stuff like that. But definitely that first weekend of games I played, definitely I was riding a high, trying to represent the region very highly.
Jaacko joining us here on the ESPN Esports show all the way in Auckland, New Zealand. Thank you very much for your time.
Cheers. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
So the journey continues for Jaacko. Our journey here on the ESPN Esports show, at least for this week, comes to an end. I don't think you were animated enough during the Overwatch League segment. We might have to do that one again.
Oh man, retake.
Yeah. I think we need to up the fire a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I could probably have an entire 24-hour show of just ranting about problems.
It would be like, let's have a 24-hour charity stream, but it's just Jacob flaming Overwatch.
I mean, I don't even think it's flaming, but sure. I think that I don't know. I think that
hot takes or something.
Sure, but wake up and smell the roses, right? The fact that I don't even know if they're roses at this point. They definitely smell far worse. They're like dandelions, but nonetheless, I think that.
What do you have against dandelions?
They're weeds, man. They're weeds and not actual flowers. But
wow.
yeah, I think that looking at it, I don't know. I have so many thoughts on that we could do segments literally every week, and we may.
We probably will as the Overwatch
up to the league,
begins.
right? We will be at the. I believe you have a child on the way, but I will certainly be at the New York homestand on February 8th and 9th.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Life sort of goes upside down when you're expecting a child, so who knows
That's
where
fair.
I'm going to be at that time. But we will be in different places, not this weekend coming up, but next weekend. One of the busiest weekends of the year in esports. ESPN Esports will be all over the place. Genesis, LCS opening weekend, Call of Duty league opening weekend.
And there's so much more than that too. There's a Dota major
Evo
going
Japan.
on. Or there's a Dota
So
event.
much.
Yeah, there's a Dota event going on in Germany. There's a bunch of various different things. What a heck of a weekend for esports.
But that is for next week's show. For this week's show, that's it for us. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next week.